Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Agni Titans Rendezvous, a talk show which promotes very exclusively our rich heritage of Indian art to the world. This evening, ladies and gentlemen, we have an amazing Urasi dancer. She is personified as a woman who does not surrender to existential faith. She is a symbol of triumph over life-threatening adversities. She's an amazing performer, a choreographer, a writer, a guru, a guide. And the most amazing thing about her is, some years back, she very valiantly fought the life-threatening disease called cancer and survived it magnanimously. So magnanimous that the films division and PSBT created an inspiring documentary on her fight, and it was entitled The Peacock Plume. Incidentally, the documentary was selected for screening at all important major international festivals. Her performance has ranged from prestigious national festivals like the Khajuraho, the Kala Ghoda, the Mahari, and even international ones such as the Art and Action in the UK and the Festival of India held in Venezuela.
Shivoham, Shivoham, Shivoham.
Srimati Shubhadha Varadkar, an artist with a quest for perfection.
Aham bhojanam naiva, bhojam na bhokta, chidananda rupa. Shivoham, Shivoham, Shivoham. न मे मृत्युर्न शंका न मे जाति भेदः पिता नैव मे नैव माता न जन्मा.
Shubhada, a performer, a choreographer, a writer, and a teacher, has taken the divine dance form of Odissi to transcendental heights with her flawless performances and mentoring of aspiring artists. A proficient disciple of late Guru Sri Kelucharan Mahapatra and the recipient of various prestigious awards, Shubhada has enthralled audiences with her artistic excellence through a range of creative productions which are well received for their rich tapestry of music, choreography, and literature. Shubhada, who is a recipient of the Senior Fellowship by the Ministry of Culture and an empanelled artist of the Indian Council for Cultural Relations, is well resourced to captivate the audience through her writing skills. But Shubhada didn't stop at that. Her passion for the Odissi dance form is such that she dedicates all her time, efforts and energy to promoting and propagating the dance form.
Namaskar, Shubhada ji. And how
Namaste.
are you? How are you?
I'm fine, and I'm so happy to be here on this beautiful show. And I loved your concept, the way you have developed this show is amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Welcome to the Agni Titans Rendezvous. And let us kickstart with your journey. How did it begin? When did it begin? And why did you choose this particular art form?
That's a question which I still keep on asking myself. And when talking about journey, I feel journey, when we feel we set out on journey, it has already begun. So I don't remember how it started. Maybe when I was a child, I used to dance. And I think all children, they dance. I always feel that every child is artist. So my mother always tells me whenever there was music, I would keep on dancing. But she felt that unique thing about my dance was that whenever I would get audience, I would be the happiest. If there is a stage performance, I will be very happy. Any audience, and I used to love performing in front of audience. And maybe because of that, I was favorite of my audience, because I'm happy, they also used to feel happy. And I was favorite of my teachers also. And those days, it was not proper classical teaching. I used to just dance anything, you know, in schools and in our colony, there was a small little organization, and they used to keep on doing some small little programs, and I used to be there. But it was not a proper dance training, because I'm from a very academic family. I have no legacy of art in my family. There was no artist in my family. I'm the first one to start this new journey. So academics and studies were very important. All my father was administrator in Baba Atomic Research Center. My uncles were, one was a lawyer, doctors, and grandfather was doctor. So, you know, the atmosphere was totally different. It was completely academics and sports. We had quite a few sports persons in our family. So I was good in sports and I had to be good in studies. So dance was just, you know, it was there. Like. And then I wanted to join a dance class, which was close to my house, because that was the only dance class I knew, and that was the only dance style I knew those days. There was no Google. So, you know, our information was very limited. So, but my family, my mother and father, they said, okay, you complete your matriculation, and if you get good marks, then you can join. So when I joined my dance class, it was like a gift for me. You know, gift because I got distinction and good marks. So, okay, now you can join your dance class. And that's how I started learning proper Bharatnatyam, which was...
Oh, you started with Bharatnatyam?
Yes, I was a proper Bharatnatyam dancer. And my father those days would come to drop me at my dance class, but he never saw what I'm doing inside. He would wait outside and then take me back home because he thought it was a good exercise. and those were the days, you know, I was also so ignorant. You won't believe, when I joined my dance class, I didn't even knew that what is a tihai. I just blindly went and started learning from my Guruji. And luckily, I was so blessed that I got Guru Sri Mani of Kalasadan as my first Guru. And I was given a lead role in that ballet, Shiva Parvati ballet. And my whole family came to see the performance. And when they saw me doing a lead role, in a ballet choreographed by my Guruji, and amongst all the South Indian girls, only one Marathi girl dancing.
Yes.
And they realized, yeah, she's doing something good. And then my Guruji came home and he told my parents that very soon we can do her Arangetram. So they were shocked. First time they heard the word Arangetram. So Guruji had to explain to them what Arangetram is. And after few years, I performed Arangetram. I used to perform. After that, I used to go to my dance class along with my Guruji, teach small young groups also.
Right.
And then by the time, I never knew that there is one another dance style, which is Odissi. And my Guruji's daughter attended Guru Kelucharn Mahapatra's workshop, and she was doing her practice. I loved that dance so much, but I said, oh, it is something very beautiful. Maybe if I'm lucky, I'll be able to learn this. And those days, television had just started, black and white television, and I saw Guruji's performance. Then I said, I must learn this. And then next time when Guruji came to Mumbai, he came to NCPA to conduct dance workshops. I took my Guru Shrimani's permission, and then I went to meet Guru Kelucharn Mahapatra, and he very happily accepted me as his disciple. And thereon this new journey started. It opened up a different world of art for me.
Shubhalaji, what is different from the Odissi traditional art form and Bharatanatyam? Obviously, you made a choice, and you made a choice towards the Odissi traditional art form. What was different you found in it?
Okay. Actually, both the dance styles, most of all of our Indian classical dance styles have their origin in Natya Shastra. Okay. And every region has adopted it in a different way. But when I started Odissi, what I liked about it, there are different pravrittis in dance styles which are mentioned in Natya Shastra. There is Arabatti, there is Kaishiki. One is very bold, whereas another is more graceful, more of lasting. Maybe I was attracted to that. But apart from that lasting, what I felt, you need lots of firmness in this dance style. Right. Firmness is there, but it's not seen. It looks very soft. And Odissi has a beautiful body position, Tribhanga body position, where your body is bent at 3 different points. You are a painter, you can imagine body in Tribhanga position, where your neck is bent, raised, then at knee level also. These 3 bent gives a beautiful sculpturesque pose to that particular style.
Very much. Yes.
And the flowing movements, it's not very angular, it's more circular. At the same time, in Odissi, we have a distinct body movement, which is called as Vakya Chalana, where the torso is moved without any movement of hips, and which gives a beautiful grace to the whole dance style. So these were the few things I got attracted. And another thing is its origin. It has, like all other dance styles, this also has originated in temples of India, and there is so much of spiritual content in this, all these art forms, and it has evolved in temples of Jagannath Ji in Puri. And unique aspect of this I loved was, although it is evolved in temple and Jagannath Ji is one God who comes out to meet people from the temple. So that connection of divinity and you, how it connects. The God himself comes out during Rath Yatra to meet everyone. So that all these philosophical things also, maybe I got attracted. The union of human and divine, so beautifully expressed through these rituals, and which are incorporated in our art forms and our dance styles. So maybe I got attracted due to all these things, but exactly I don't know. There are certain things which you can't explain why you like it. You can't apply the
Yes.
human logic to it.
Yes, very true. Very true. I agree with you. Shubhaji, there is one performance of yours which I have seen, Bihag Pallavi, and I think
Yes.
it was beautiful. Do tell us about
Yes.
it. Do tell us about
That is one of my favorite composition of my Guruji, and that shows the beauty of Odissi as a language of expression. There is a poetic movement which goes through, even though there is actually no poetry. It's just music, and it's just a raga development
Yes,
of a raga.
yes. It is outstanding. Can we share this with our viewers now?
Yeah,
Love to see
sure,
this.
pleasure. Yes, definitely.
Pallavi introduces and unfolds the beauty of Odissi as a language of expression. Pallavi literally means to elaborate. Movements are lyrical and graceful, with equal importance to rhythm and music.
Sagama pa sani pa ma pa ga ma ga, sani sagama pa ni dha pa ma pa ga ma ga, taham tari ta jhena, jhenu tari ta jhenu, taham tari ta jhena, kukundari ta ta, taham tari ta jhena, jhenu tari ta jhenu, taham tari ta jhena, kukundari ta ta, gama ga pa ma pa pa gama ga ni dha pa pa gama ga sa ni dha pa ma ga gama ga pa ma pa pa gama ga ni dha pa pa gama ga sa ni dha pa ma ga gama ga pa ma pa gama ga dha pa dha gama ga ni gama ga sa ni dha pa ma gama ga pa ma pa gama ga dha pa dha gama ga ni gama ga sa ni dha pa ma gama ga sa pa ma gama ga sa pa ma gama ga, aham tari ta jhena, jhenu tari ta jhenu, taham tari ta jhena, kukundari ta ta, sagama pa ni dha pa ni sa ni dha pa ma ga sagama pa ni dha pa ni sa ni dha pa ma ga sa ma ga sa ni dha sa pa ma ga sa ma ga sa ni dha sa pa ma ga sagama pa ni sa ni dha pa ma ga sagama pa ni sa ni dha pa ma ga 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 taham tari ta jhena, jhenu tari ta jhenu, taham tari ta jhena, kukundari ta ta, taham tari ta jhena, jhenu tari ta jhenu, taham tari ta jhena, kukundari ta ta, tarikit takta jhena, tarikit takta jhena, tarikit takta jhena, tarita jhinam, tarita jhinam, tarita jhinam, tajhinam, 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 gama ga pa ni dha pa ma dha pa gama ga pa ni dha pa ma dha pa gama ga pa ni dha pa ma dha pa gama.
Shubhaji, that was brilliant. That was absolutely brilliant. But to have reached this level of finesse, I'm sure you would have gone through several challenges. Can you name a few of the challenges? Can you describe a few of the challenges that you possibly went through?
Yes, challenges. Till I'm facing many challenges. But to begin with, actually, I was blessed that I had full support of my family when I decided to continue dancing. I never took decision that I'm going to become a dancer or anything. It just happened to me. I had to do well in studies, so I did my master's in economics. Then I was a professor of economics in Ruya College. But all along, in between, I was into sports. I played for nationals in ball badminton. I played cricket. So many things were happening in life. When you're young, you want to do so many things. You feel you are full of dreams and
Amazing.
positivity. So, but all along, dance was there with me. And there was no point of time where I thought, no, I'm not going to do dance. It was always there. But I never thought that I'm going to continue dancing and continue dancing, but not take it up as a main, I won't call it profession, but main passion and the only thing in my life. So it just happened to me. And in dance also, there were so many challenges. I was lucky and blessed to have very supportive gurus. But when it's not that, as I told you, I was always attracted to audience. I always wanted to perform, to become a performer. And then when you're not from a family of artists, you don't have any such legacy, it becomes more difficult.
Yes, sure.
And then I was applying everywhere with my CV, biodata, everything, but no response. And then once, Ustad Abdul Halim Zafar Khan, maestro, sitarist, he called me. And I could not believe it. I picked up the phone. He said, "मैं Ustad Halim Zafar Khan बोल रहा हूँ, Shubhda ji hai." So I thought some of my friend maybe is, just it's a prank. So I said, हाँ बोलिए. So he said, आप कुछ 19 February, that was his birthday, इस दिन आप फ्री है क्या हमारे एकेडमी के लिए प्रोग्राम करने? So I thought ये कोई मजाक हो रहा है, तो मैंने कहा मैं देखती हूँ, बाद में बताती हूँ. And I kept the phone down, and then I realized, oh, it was really him asking me performance. And then immediately I searched for his number, and then I called him and I said, Khazam, मैं free हूँ, मैं करूँगी, मुझे बहुत खुशी होगी. And that's how I got my first big good performance, where all the artists and good organizers, they saw my performance. And it was like one good performance gives you another. So I started getting performances in good festivals. And this is how it's. So that was a very challenging thing to enter as a classical.
Yes. And then, of course, you've done some amazing, some amazing performances in Khajuraho, in Kala Ghoda, in Mahari, even at the Art and Action in UK. And
yes, I mean, getting opportunity to represent your country is something, which was always my dream.
Yes, and a great privilege. I would like to now ask you one important question. Which would you say was your wow moment in
wow moment? I think I'm still waiting for it. But I feel there are some semi-wow moments in my life.
All right, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Okay. When we perform, of course, we perform for your own happiness, and at the same time you have to make your audience happy, and that's the most important thing of any performance.
Yes.
So I think that is which gives me wow moment, when my audience likes my performance. It's not anything else, money or nothing makes me happy as much as this makes me happy. So there are two instances I feel I will share with you. I was performing Ramayana with a live music and open air performance. And sometimes everything is perfect when you're performing. and you enjoy that performance so much, and which rarely happens, especially when you're performing. Live music is there, so many people coordinating together, there's light, sound, so many things. So very rarely that everything is perfect. Audience may not understand, but as artists we know what is happening backstage.
Yes.
So this performance I was enjoying. It was such a beautiful performance, and after performance I came inside and sat in the green room, and I had performed Ramayana, an episode from Ramayana, where I was in this, in classical dance with the same costume, same one single artist can present an epic story.
Yes.
Without change of sets or anything. So strong our technique is, traditional technique. So I was doing all the characters of Ram, Sita, Lakshman, Ravan, Jatayu, everything. And I just came back and sat in the green room with the same costume. People are coming to meet me. Suddenly I found there's a lady with a small little girl. The girl was of 7 or 8 ages, maybe, I don't but very young girl. So her mother tells me, I'm sorry to disturb you, but this girl is just after me. She wants to see Ram. She wants to see Ram, and she's come to see you. This small little girl, she looks at me and she tells, no, this is not that Ram. And my heartbeat stopped almost, and her mother was feeling very awkward that what is she talking. But I realized she never knew, her canvas was blank. She never knew who is performing, whether this performer is a big name or what. But she was so much into it. And I was so lucky to have such audience. So that was one moment which I always will cherish. And I feel that every performance of mine should be at such level that I can move this small little young girl also and connect her to the character or the presentation which I'm performing. So that was one moment. And then I decided this is a big lesson for me. Wherever I'm performing, whether the audience is big, whether there's one person in the audience or 1,000, or whether the small child is looking at me or elderly person looking at me, my performance has to be the best. So that wow moment from that small little Rasika I got, and taught me such a big lesson. And another example I wanted to give you, you just mentioned about Venezuela. We have been to Venezuela for the Festival of India. And, the country was going through a very big economic crisis. And we could see the whole society was so different. We could see so many poor people, and we were warned that when you walk, don't try to go alone anywhere. And then we could see people standing in line for food. And since we were performing for Festival of India, and it was collaboration of these two governments, we had very good audience, performance, everything went off so well. And then after the performance, one young lady came to meet me, and she said, I'm a dancer and I loved your performance so much. And I almost was crying, because when you are going through such a big turmoil in your society, and if you see something which is so pure, so divine, like our Indian classical dances, people get moved. So then she said, I want to give you something, but I don't have anything. And she started removing her earrings. I said, no, please, I got whatever you want to give me. Your appreciation is the most valuable for me. Don't have to give me anything. But she said, no, this is my wish. I have to give you. And she removed her earrings and she gave me. And it was not just the shape of that earring was very different. I mean, which is not normally we would wear such earring. I just looked at it and she said, this is our country's map. Such a valuable thing she gave me. So that is also very touching for me.
That is amazing. And that is how beautiful life is. If you're aware of every moment existing, it is so beautiful. Life can be so beautiful. One question, Shubhaji, which I have been waiting to ask you, is your victorious fight with cancer. And it has been,
Yes.
a documentary has been made on it by Films Division and by PSBT, if I'm not wrong. And it has also been, this document called The Peacock Plume has been also shown in various international film festivals. Do tell us about this fight that you had with such a treacherous disease called cancer.
Yeah. Yes. Initially, you know, now I'm very comfortable talking about it, but I'm telling you, there was a time when I used to hide that I'm going through this treatment. You know, I was performing in London and suddenly I was unwell. Somehow I just managed to complete my tour and my mother forced me. My mother would call from here, from India, and just see how the connection, how our mothers are.
Yes.
So she would call and one hello, she just said, what happened? You're not well? So I said, no, I have some anxiety and you know, all these things. You don't tell your mother you are unwell when you are far away.
Yes.
But she realized, she said, no, you come away, right away, you have to come to India. I said, no, let me finish my tour and then I'll come. And then somehow I finished my last performance and then I preponed my tickets and I came here. Next day I went to doctor and it was found that I had about 9 to 10 inches big tumor in my abdomen, and which I never realized. And doctors wish, I told doctor I was performing yesterday. Because next day, immediately after arriving in India, directly I went to doctor. My mother had already taken an appointment for the sonography. So he said, it is miraculous how you performed. I said, I had no pain at all. Of course, discomfort was there, but unexplainable discomfort. You don't know what is happening to you.
Right,
and you know,
right.
that time I realized that how our body is giving us all the signals, but we tend to ignore our body signals. And then he said, we have to go for surgery and further investigations. Then, and I had a performance after 15 days. I said, but I have performance. He said, no, you can't perform. I mean, immediately we went to doctor and then they said, we have to do proper surgery, total abdominal hysterectomy. We can't treat you with lasers or anything. And luckily I had all lady doctors and they were very brave. When I told them I have to perform, so please do something. So they said, let's try, you know, just to pacify me. Say, let's try, but we have to immediately go for surgery. And then the tumor was removed. That time also we were not sure whether this is malignant or non-malignant.
Right.
But my whole objective was my performance. And I did perform on 15th day of my surgery, my doctor standing in the wings, and you know, it was such a...
After 15 days of your surgery?
Yes.
What passion, Shubhaji, what passion.
And yes, but you know, that was the moment, because you know that performance, it was a big performance, but it's not that thousands of people are waiting for me. It's, you know, classical dance performances.
Yes.
So it's not like those rock stars performing.
Yes.
But of course, even if we have our quality of audience, of course, is always very good.
Oh yes, that is for sure.
And there's not big money involved, but you know, I thought I have to take this challenge. I mean, I can't surrender to my destiny every time, because before that also I had gone through so much in my life. There was a separation, divorce, and you know, every time you try to do something. So I took it as a challenge. I have to do. And then I realized I have to surrender to this energy within me. And I feel that if you surrender to that energy and do something with passion, one can do it. In fact, everybody was against my performance. So I told them, no, I'll just do Abhinay. And then on stage, I did everything. And I had a very supportive musicians. We used to do rehearsal. I could not even sit. I used to lie down and just rehearse with the music, repetitions and all. You know, everybody tries to support you when you want to do something.
Yes.
With that passion.
Yes.
And then after that, by the time after performance, up to 2-3 days, the report came and it was diagnosed as a ovarian cancer. And then there was a long of chemotherapy, radiation, and then I decided I'm not going to tell anybody about my illness, because I won't get performances, because people will think she's unwell.
Beautiful. Awesome.
And then in between my chemotherapy, I used to, if somebody calls me, I was lucky also, after my first chemo cycle, I got a call from Doordarshan that can you do this program? So I told, yes, if you are recording, I gave them one date which was on the 3rd week of my chemo cycle. So 3rd week you tend to bounce back a little bit, because you get the effect is less, because first week of your chemo you can't even get up from your bed. And then like that I used to talk to my organizers and manipulate my dates and perform. And then after first chemo I started losing my hair. There was no hair on my head, so my mother made a lovely wig for me. I mean, we bought wig, but then how to put that wig, because there's no hair. How to clip it. So my mother made I used to tie thread with my ear, and she made all those things for me. At home also she would make different type of cotton things for me, so that I don't get infection on my head. And so I used to be able to hide it from everyone. People thought I've gone for a makeover, short hair, and so, and I used to avoid going out much, only for performances, and I would dress up at home and go directly for a performance. So people don't know what is happening to you. And I was doing this. Then after I completed my treatment, I met one lady. She was going through cancer treatment, and she was so depressed. And looking at her, I don't know what I felt. I just felt like sharing, and I told her about my whole. I told her I've gone through this. She could not believe that I'm a cancer survivor. And then after that, after 3-4 months, she calls me and she tells me that day you spoke to me, and it changed my whole outlook towards life. And I started responding well to my treatment, and now I'm feeling much better. The moment she told me this, it changed my outlook. And I realized that there is so much power in sharing.
Yes.
And why I'm hiding this? And I realized that hiding was more difficult. It would have been very easy for me to tell everybody.
Yes.
And then I started sharing it with people. I started talking to cancer patients and sort of semi-counseling, meeting them and telling about my experience and how I dealt with it. So, and during the whole treatment, even radiation also, my doctors also very supportive. Whenever I used to tell them I want to perform, they would not say no, because they thought I won't be able to. So they said, okay, let's try. And I kept on performing. And 1 or 2 performances, I had a big challenge, because I had to perform with other dancers. So physically they are perfect, and I'm dancing, with all these problems. But on stage, nobody knows what you're going through. When you are on your artist, you're nothing else. So I had to put extra energy. Then in between my treatment, there was of course, this is a big side effect of the chemotherapy, that I had no sensation underneath my feet and my palm, because there was sort of neurosis. Your nerve endings, they become numb. So doctor told me, see if you can dance. I mean, just try. But you will have these symptoms. And I did felt it, and I was finding it very difficult to dance. But then I said, no, let me dance. And that was the time my doctor said, if it is affecting your dance, I will try to change your medicine. That gave me such a big relief, that they are also feeling that my art is so important. And then he told my niece to stand in the wings and observe my performance. That was a performance I was performing with other dancers, and I was trying to put extra energy in my dance because to compensate that which is not there underneath my feet. And so I could match everyone, and she said that you could manage it very well. Nobody could make out that there's something wrong with you. And then we continued with the same treatment. And somehow, you know, God and your family, your friends, everybody gives you energy if you are also very positive about it and determined about it.
Subhadaji, I have no words to express my appreciation. What a kaleidoscope of dimensions. Unimaginable. Bharatanatyam dancer, Odissi dancer, international performer, cancer conqueror. And no, I'm not going to let you go that easy. Writer. I am aware of your 3 books, Glimpses of India, Mayur Punk, and I think Celestial Plume. Tell us something about these books. What made you get into writing?
Yes, actually, the book on dance, the Glimpses of Indian Classical Dance, was prompted by my students. You know, they wanted a book, and then I used to conduct workshops abroad also for School of Philosophy. In fact, I used to conduct lots of dance workshops. So my students there, they told me, why don't you write a book? You speak so well, and that will be a good guideline for us. And then I wrote that book, but that is a purely a technical book about all the Indian classical dance styles.
All right. Okay.
And then I never realized, but I was always attracted to poetry. And thus I used to enjoy dancing on different poetries, Ashtapadis of Geet Govind. And I never knew that there is something of some poetic thing in me. And I was going through this whole cancer treatment. You know, when you're going through all these adverse things, there is a sort of manthan in you, the churning of your emotions. And after that churning, you know, something beautiful came out in the form of poetries, which I wrote in my mother tongue, Marathi. But I used to hide it from everyone because I had absolutely no confidence in me about my writing. And there's one very well-known Marathi playwright, Sri Gangaram Gavankar. We were judging some competitions together, and those were the days I just showed him 1 or 2 poetries which he appreciated, and he told me, why don't you write? You have such a huge experience about your art, and you're going through this whole cancer period. So, you know, that gave me little encouragement, and then I started collecting my poetries back, and then I started writing a book.
All
so
right.
that's how the whole thing started, and I got a very good response from this first book. So many people read this. And it is not only about cancer, but it is from those 6 months, that period, what I went through, and how it's like a monologue of myself.
Yeah. It must be containing enormous amount of intensity of emotions and feelings. You're going through that particular stage. I can well imagine that. And what about your Celestial Plume?
Celestial Plume is actually, it is, when I wrote in Marathi, so many of my friends, those who are not Marathi, they were after me, why don't you write something in English? And it is, first I thought, no, I'll ask somebody to translate Mayur Punk so that I don't have to write. But then translation was not coming out so well. So I thought, let me try writing. And I wrote that. And that Celestial Plume is published by Right Place of Crosswords. They have published it. And,
right.
Yes.
Excellent. Subhadaji, one final question. What is your inspirational advice to young budding artists who would love to be where you are today and beyond?
I don't know, I can give advice, but I feel whatever I've gone through, looking back, I feel that one should never give up hope.
Right.
one thing which is very important in our life. And especially during this pandemic also, I thought that initially all of us were dejected about this whole isolation.
Yes, yes.
But I think we can take it as a different phase of our life where we can try to go inwards and try to find out what is there within us. Try to, and then always when such thing happens in my life, I feel it's like, you know, the caterpillar going through that moment in that cocoon, where he feels it is the last day of his life, but after that it becomes butterfly. So that is how nature has taught us about hope, and nature always inspires us. So we take this inspiration from nature and that energy which is in everyone, all of us having that energy. Just feel that energy, surrender to that, and then it will naturally respond to you.
What an amazing inspirational advice, Shubhaji. Thank you so much, Shubhaji. Thank you so much for being with us on the show today. It was so nice and so calming, so wonderful talking.
Pleasure is mine. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Shubhaji. Thank you so much. And to you, audience, that was Shubhada Bharatkar, a kaleidoscope of talent, challenges, suffering, and victory. And before we say goodbye, once again, sit back and enjoy this amazing performance. Thank you so much.
Traditionally, Ashtapadis were sung and danced in the temple of Lord Jagannath for various ceremonies. One of the unique aspects of Indian philosophy is Madhura Bhakti Bhav, where a devotee considers herself as beloved of the Lord. This Abhinay, Kuru Yadu Nandana, portrays Madhura Bhav of Radha, in which she asks Lord Krishna to adorn her with her ornaments, to apply sandalwood paste on her body, to make her beautiful and pure once again, to unite with him, to worship him.
Guru Yadu Nandana Chandana Shishira Tarena Karena Payodhare. Guru Yadu Nandana Chandana Shishira Tarena Karena Payodhare. Guru Yadu Nandana Chandana Shishira Tarena Karena Payodhare. Mrugamada रति गलिते ललिते कुसुमानि 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 शिखण्डी शिखण्डक डामरे निज गाद सायदु नंदने क्रीडति हृदया नंदने क्रीडति हृदया नंदने क्रीडति हृदया नंदने सरस घने जघने मम शंभर दारण बारण कंदरे सरस घने जघने मम 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 शंभर दारण बारण कंदरे मणिरशना वसना भरणानि 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 सुभाषय वासय सुन्दरे निज गाद सायदु नंदने क्रीडति